How you guys doing? Steph here. Welcome to the video. So, I was listening to a podcast and Elon Musk was on it, and he was talking about the difficulties when he came into Twitter, now X, the platform. What was his number one problem? Number one problem was messy code. The code was so convoluted and messy that they've been spending the last year just cleaning it up. This is something I've been talking about for the longest time. The difference between the best developers in the world and the not so good is that the best developers will write very clean, simple code, easy to update code. So this is a lesson for people who are learning to code, people who want to advance their career. The key is not learning a new framework or new technology necessarily. The number one thing you should be doing is learning to write clean, simple code. There's a couple ways of doing that. First of all, you can learn to refactor. The process of refactoring code is a process of cleaning up code. There have been books written about it. One of the few books I've kept from the 90s and the early 2000s is my book on refactoring. There's links to it below. There's one for Java, there's one for JavaScript, but the techniques and the principles of refactoring are universal across all the languages, and this is not something that gets dated. Cleaning up methods and functions and learning to see typical patterns like God methods that have to be addressed and fixed, it has not changed in decades, so it will not change. So I highly recommend, if you don't know how to refactor, pick up one of the books below, links below, you go pick it up on Amazon. Again, there's one in JavaScript, one for JavaScript or one for Java. Pick whatever one you prefer. But again, if you're writing Python, the techniques described in that book and those books will be perfectly applicable. So that's number one. You got to learn to write clean and simple code, and so you should learn to refactor. The other thing you should learn is something called design patterns. A design pattern is a way of structuring your code. Again, the better you structure the code, the easier it is to maintain. The more robust the code is, the easier to extend it. Any software that has any success will be software that has to be maintained and updated and extended. So clean code designed with commonly understood design patterns is just going to go a long way to achieving those goals. Another advantage of the design pattern is that it allows you to easily communicate with other developers. You can say, okay, we're going to use MVC for the structure here. Or, okay, we got this problem here, fix it with decorators. These are common design patterns. Now, there are many design patterns out there, but there's a handful that you really need to understand. The rest are not so important. Like so many other technologies, even in design patterns, they went a little crazy. They got overly complex, like they did with Java, like they did with NPM and the Node packages, like they did now apparently with React. So yeah, keep it simple. Yeah, so if you look at Elon Musk and Twitter, over the last year, there's been more updates, more additional features to that platform than I'd say in the last 10 years maybe. It's pretty crazy. So, but again, the challenge was refactoring. I dealt with a very similar circumstance. I've talked about it in the past. My own learning software, Studioweb is a SaaS software that I've been selling into schools for over a decade now. And the original code base got so convoluted and messed up because of new developers, changing requirements, and we didn't really understand the business case. So we had to change a lot of fundamental functionality and even structure over time as we understood what the schools really needed. So at a point it just got so messy and I had to pull the trigger. I think it was maybe 5 years in, maybe 7 years into the project, but I had to pull the trigger. I had to stop it, and we had to rewrite from scratch. And that was it. So sometimes you just have to do it. So when we rewrote from scratch, because we knew what the use case was, we were able to write much cleaner code right from the start, and we're able to structure the code in such a way that it would be easily extendable where I knew it would need to go. So I'll leave you with this last lesson about real world software development. Again, from real experience here. having built a few commercial SaaS software. When you're building your version 1 of a software, assume you don't know what's really going to happen. You don't really know what the use cases are. So assume that you're going to have to change things up quite a bit. So your first version, your first release of any app, I wouldn't have unit tests in there. I would just write dirty code, get it out as quick as possible. Why? Because you're going to probably have to trash a lot of the code anyway. So why waste your time on writing unit tests and having super clean code? Refactor it a little bit as you go. Refactoring, by the way, that process, when you learn about it, links below, is a process. It's kind of ongoing. So you might write code for a couple hours, new code, then you go back the next day, or even then, you clean it up a little bit. You say, oh, okay, this is a little messy here, I can fix this, I can fix this. You don't want to leave refactoring to some special day months in advance. You want to refactor as you go. It's an ongoing process. It's kind of like brushing your teeth. After you have a meal, you brush your teeth, you floss. You go have lunch, you brush your teeth again. You don't brush your teeth a week later. So that's the way you do with refactoring. It's just like brushing your teeth. If you're curious, this is the view. Right now I am in Delray Beach, Florida, sitting on the Intercoastal, enjoying the view. Quite nice. If you don't know me, my name is Steph. Some people call me Uncle Steph. I've been teaching people how to code for 8,000 years because I'm very old. So if you want to learn how to code, follow me on this channel. If you want to be mentored by me in terms of total beginner, advanced developer with 10 years experience, you want to level up your skill, I even have CTOs in my program if you want to do all that kind of stuff. Check it out below, unclesteph.com. Also, you can see in the links below my books, not my books, but books on refactoring. I also have a book too for total beginners if you want to learn the basics of the web. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching the video, and if you have any questions, let me know. By the way, this camera I'm using is the Insta360 AcePro. It's a camera that was given to me, but this is not a sponsored video. I have this habit of liking cameras. I love cameras. I play with all kinds of cameras. So they sent me this camera to test out, and I recorded this whole video with this camera. And yeah, take a look. You can look at the link below if you want to check out the Insta360 AcePro. Pretty cool. It's got all kinds of capabilities, but now you see what it kind of looks like.